Rivalry. The word itself evokes intense emotion. Now consider the fact that this rivalry has been forged in fire over decades, that on a regular Tuesday would be as intense as anything in high school sports. Now add in the fact that one of these teams will be playing for the semifinals of the state playoffs with a chance to win a state championship. Of course, I'm talking about the Lady Gators of Sanamaw and the Lady Spartans of East Ascension. Today, they renew their rivalry on the softball diamond. Will Sanamaw have a chance to win their fourth state title, or will East Ascension beat the Lady Gators for the first time since 2011? We'll find out together live on the REV Game of the Week.
It all began in 1935, a new era in telecommunications, right here in Southeast Louisiana, born from the ambitions of several local families, with a clear vision and outlook focused on the future, connecting people across 10 parishes, one household at a time, powering an internet superhighway from the bayou to the river, built to deliver the speed and reliability every customer needs. We are REV, 90 years of building connections.
Chris's Specialty Foods has you covered for tailgating this season. We do all the prep work so you can spend time enjoying your family and friends. Steaks, burgers, sausage, chicken, wild game, and many other great pork options. Our central location is now open on Wax Road behind the Walmart. And the new Highland location serves hot lunches and has a meeting space for your work team. New Orleans and Millerville are rocking as well. It's fast, affordable, and delicious. It's Chris's Specialty Foods.
Everybody loves Chris's.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Sanamaw High School Athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials.
Side is probably the most successful coach ever in the history of Ascension Parish high school sports, and that would be Amy Petrie. She's in her 9th season at Sanamaw, 231-96-1. She's 58-6 overall in district, 25-3 in the playoffs, and she was also at EA and won 200 games over there, 400 plus wins, multiple state championships, trying to go for her 4th in a row here at Sanamaw.
Amazing, right? There's lengthy resumes for both. And let's take a look at our quarterfinal round, Division I non-select quarterfinals. And, boy, the resumes for these two teams are very impressive, my friend.
Yeah, Sanamaw is the number 4 seed, and you see that right there, they're 22-9. They beat Southside. That was our game of the week on Tuesday night. They won a game 4-2. East Ascension, they had to play 2 games because they did not get the top 6 bye like Sanamaw did. They're 19-12 overall. And in the bye district, they beat Parkway 14-9 and then beat Hahnville in the regionals. That was an upset over the 5th-seeded Hahnville Tigers, 5-4. And these two teams played. We did the second game, you and I together. Yep. The first game was at East Ascension. Sanamaw won that game 9-4. And then Sanamaw, that was the game that we had over here at Sanamaw, and Sanamaw got 7 runs in the bottom of the 6th to pull away and beat East Ascension by a score of 14-6.
Let's take a look. We're going to go to the PA announcer and listen to their starting lineups.
And in batting order for the Lady Spartans is number 14, Maya Lanou. Number 43, Hayden Touye. Number 10, Mackenzie Creole. Number 11, Emma Blanchard. Number 55, Avery Stevens. Number 2, Madison Stevens. Number 8, Savannah Baker. Number 23, Adeline Bradbury. Number 4, Zakiah Jackson. Number 31, Hartley Berthelot. And today, your Lady Gators starting lineup in batting order. Actually, I'm going to start with your Lady Gators. Number 4, Amaya Franklin. Number 7, Kai Gotro. Number 9, Paige Stevens. Number 11, Demi Jaro. Number 13, Amari Long. Number 18, Katie Landry. Number 19, Devin Tanner. Number 21, Brentley Burke. Number 25, Kendall Landry. Number 27, Kaylee Rockefort. Number 34, Brady Baker. Number 35, Ava Vicknair. Number 36, Hudson Bowler. And 00, Aubrey Schmidt. Now for your starting lineup. Number 1 in batting order. Number 1, Bailey Ducote, shortstop. At center field, number 37, Riley Moran. At first base, number 6, Kinley Mesh. Olivia Johnson. And your pitcher, number 24, Braylee Decato. At left field, number 2, Kinley Trish. At DP, number 12, Lauren Allen. At second base, number 3, Riley Causey. And
It is go time. Time for a batting order for the East Ascension Spartans.
So the batting order for East Ascension, leading off number 14, shortstop Maya Lanou. Batting second, number 43, third baseman Caden Coulier. Batting third, Mackenzie Creel. Number 10, the designated player. Batting cleanup, number 11, Emma Blanchard, first base. Batting fifth, Avery Stevens, number 55, catcher. Batting sixth, number 2, Madison Stevens at second base. At batting seventh is the pitcher, number 8, Savannah Baker. Batting eighth, number 23, left fielder Adeline Bradbury. And batting ninth, number 4, right fielder Zakiah Jackson. And that'll do it for the lineup. Jimmy, why did you tell us what the keys are to victory for both sides tonight?
Let's take a look at those right now. And for East Ascension, they've got to throw strikes. Their pitcher, Baker, has more walks than she does strikeouts. And they can't give in to the chaos. We saw a lot of that against Southside last couple of days ago when Sandoval really ran the bases well. For Sandoval, they have to be aggressive at the plate, and they cannot put the leadoff hitter on base. They have a tendency to do that in the game that we did with them, the several games that we've seen them later in this season. So they really got to do a better job of getting that first out if they could possibly do it. And we're ready to rock and roll. It is playoff softball, the quarterfinals. We're going to take a look later on, or as soon as we get a chance, at what else is going on in the quarterfinals. But our first pitch, and it is Decato in the circle. And to give you the line on her, she has a 4.05 ERA. She's pitched 84 innings. She has a 13-2 record, 97 strikeouts to 40 walks, which is really good ratio. And batting against her, they're batting .270 against her. This is Maya Lanou, the first batter to the plate. She has 383 batting averages, leads the team with 4 triples.
Right, and you want to prevent that leadoff hitter from getting on, but she's a 383 hitter, so it's going to be a tough job for her today.
She squared the bunt, pulled it back, and fouled it off.
One thing I want to point out, because I noticed it already, and we get some shots as we go, it's standing room only here at this field. The East Ascension fans are lined up all the way to the right field wall. There are tons of people here today.
Well, when we got here, I don't know, about 11 o'clock, there were chairs already lining around the fence from anywhere there was a spot. There were chairs. And this is exactly what we expect on a Saturday afternoon, a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Light variable winds, 81 degrees, perfect for softball. Another foul tip or pitch by Lanu, and she's doing a great job at the plate.
No, you're absolutely right. Her job right here is to find the right pitch to do something with and fight off anything that's close in the strike zone, and that's what she's done. She fouled off 4 pitches right here, count 1 and 2. And she does it again. And they're all in that same spot, basically off the right side of the backstop toward the left field in the Santa Maria baseball park. That one's the only one that didn't quite reach the park. They got into the stands over there down the first base line.
A little bit late on those swings. Let's see if she can do something with it here. Pitch is a little high. And that's evens the count.
That's what I was talking about, Jimmy. Fight off the good pitches and then take the bad ones and get back into this count. And that's what she's done right here, getting it to 2 and 2.
Decato rocks and fires again, just a little bit under it, slapping it right off the top of the bat. But this is what you want to see from your leadoff person, and that is battling all the way through and just making sure that she has another opportunity to hit something.
And one thing to point out here, Jimmy, pitch count doesn't really matter in softball.
Right.
She can go out there and throw 100 pitches, and she's going to be just fine as long as she's effective. It's not the same in baseball, obviously, when you got a pitch count and you can wear out a pitcher and maybe get a pitcher run early if you can foul off a bunch of pitches. So that's not really the issue right here.
Whew, that one missed the mark. Way, I don't know, the way inside, went behind her, actually.
And that's what she's done. She's fought all the way back from 0-2 to a 3-2 count. This is, I believe, the 11th pitch of this at-bat.
3 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff batter in Maya Lanu for East Ascension. And that one's high, and they did it again. Put the leadoff runner on with a walk.
That is a really great at-bat by Maya Lanu. Fought off all those pitches, fouled them away, and finally got to the 4 balls, and she gets on base and sets up for the best hitter in 5-5A, Caden Touye, hitting 500 on a year.
She also has 14 home runs. This pitch into the right field. It will be caught in shallow right by Stevens, and we have our first out. Let's take a look around the horn.
And we'll start in the outfield. Left fielder for Santa Maria Kinley Trish, center fielder Riley Moran, right fielder Madeline Stevens. In the infield, first base Kinley Mesh, second base Riley Causey, shortstop Bailey Ducote, third base Olivia Johnson, pitching Braylee Decato, and behind the plate Brooke Rabelais.
Ball 1 to Mackenzie Creel. She's batting .443 with 9 doubles on the year. She leads the team in doubles. I believe she was the one that caught that throw to the back of the head the game we had earlier.
Yes, but an easy stolen base right there by Maya Lanu, and she gets her 26th stolen base of the year. I want to point out, Jimmy, though, that was a really important first out to get Touye to fly out on that first pitch. When you're a 500 hitter and you're a solid player like her, it's really big to get her out.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out across the scoreboard, and that is a called strike.
And you were talking about the instance. This happened in the 6th inning of the game at Santa Maria. She struck out and then was hit in the back of the head by the throw to second base on a stolen base attempt, and the runner was called out on interference. As you see, a deep fly ball to the wall.
Going deep, and it's off the wall. It'll be scooped up by Trish, but it'll allow the run to score. And a great job that time for Mackenzie Creel to put this one about as close to out of the yard as you possibly can. And she's got her 10th double of the season and an RBI.
Jimmy, she missed that by less than a foot as we see the replay of the runner scoring, but that hit right above the sign in left field, and there's about a 1 foot kind of buffer. You can see it right there between the sign and the top of the fence. So when you're hitting in that area above the top of the fence, you're just missing a home run by inches.
Smart play by Trish, though, and saw in left field to allow it off the wall, play it well off the wall. This brings up our fifth batter, Avery Stevens. She's the catcher, batting .341 on the season. Oh, check that out. Emma Blanchard. I'm sorry, Emma Blanchard. Emma Blanchard swings and misses at this one, 0-2.
Good job right there by Decato, giving her something at her face that she can kind of be bait.
And that's the second out of the inning. So the first strikeout for Decato. Decato in the game against Southside had 11 strikeouts.
And she's up to 98 on the season, so she could hit that 100 mark here before the end of the day. Gators, their leadoff hitter, number one shortstop Bailey DeCody, batting second Riley Moran in center, number 37, batting third, number 6 Kinley Mesh at first, batting fourth Brooke Rabelais, she's number 8, and she is behind the plate. Olivia Johnson bats fifth, number 10, playing third base. Braylee Decato on the mound, bats sixth, number 24. Batting seventh, number 2, Kinley Trish, and she is the left fielder. Lauren Allen, the designated player, bats eighth, number 12, and then batting ninth is second baseman number 3, Riley Causey. And they will be facing Savannah Baker for the Lady Spartans. And Jimmy, while we got a moment, why don't we talk about against West Washita? Sam Houston defeated Live Oak, and they move on. They run ruled Live, and they move on. They run ruled Live Oak. Walker defeated Benton 6-3 in 8 innings. So you're guaranteed 2 teams from 5A. If Dutchtown can win this afternoon, then 3 of the 4 teams in Sulphur will be from District 5A.
Just says just how strong this district is up and down the lineup, up and down the list of teams. And our first batter is Dakota, and Dakota will step up to the plate with .481 batting average. First pitch is a strike.
Good pitch, and this is what Savannah Baker has to do. She walks a lot of hitters, and she's got to be in the strike zone because that caused some problems in the later innings when she faced Santa Ma here earlier this year.
Yeah, she has a 7.45 ERA. She's pitched in 71 innings. She has a 7-8 record. Strikeout to walk ratio, 48 strikeouts to 73 base on balls. That one will be over the head of the shortstop in the shallow left field, and a good job for Bailey DeCody to get on base with a base hit.
And that's just an easy swing right there, finding a hole over the shortstop's head as Lanou was playing in a little tight as you're looking to defend a potential slap right there. And she found that hole right over her head, got the easy base hit, and now that's going to bring up Moran.
The top of the order for the Lady Gators, the first 4 batters, I believe, are lefties. This one will get past the catcher, Stevens, and that will allow an easy advance for Dakota.
And Santa Ma has those left-handed hitters because there is a definite advantage when you have fast runners who can slap the ball down that third baseline. They can beat out an infield hit very easily.
Saw that against Southside several times. There's a little bunt, beautifully laid down, nowhere to go with it, advances the runner, and a safe base hit on a perfectly laid bunt by Kylie Moran.
And that's what we were talking about. That's 2 extra steps you get when you're in that left-handed batter's box, and that was just enough for her to beat that out. Wasn't even a throw.
It kind of laid down softly on the carpet. It was spinning a little bit and stayed, of course, in play because that's the beauty of the turf infield. You're not going to hit a bump or a rock or a clump of dirt or something like that. It rolls true, and it was just perfectly placed down the first base line. Runner going to second base. She will easily be in at second. No throw for Stevens, wisely.
Yeah, got to protect that run from scoring at third base. So you usually see them fake that throw and then just hold on to it and get it back to the pitcher.
No outs in the bottom of the first. East Ascension leads 1-0 against Sanamaw. 1-1 the count.
Kind of expect this to be a high-scoring game. You had the Sanamaw scored 9 and 14 in their two matchups with East Ascension so far, and you know that East Ascension can score a lot of runs as well.
This is Mesh at the plate, by the way. She's batting .403. She leads the team in doubles with 17. That's a lot of extra. Well, you've got runners in scoring position with Dakota at third and Moran at second. This off the plate, and that'll be the first walk of the ball game for Savannah Baker. So we've got the bases loaded now, and it brings up Brooke Rabelais, the catcher, batting .402 on the season.
And that got Coach Tony Rick off her seat. More to give instructions to the infield who are playing all in. They're going for the play at the plate right here against their leadoff hitter.
Baker rocks and fires a line drive into right center field. 1 run scores, 2 run score, a play at third. Toulier will knock it down, and we've got a 2 RBI double for the team's leader there in Brooke Rabelais.
And that was just a clean base hit. Infield playing in, and you can see just got past the second baseman Stevens. Easy 2 RBI single, and now Sanamaw takes the lead here in the bottom of the first. So you see Devin Tanner is going to run for Brooke Rabelais at second base.
Brings up Olivia Johnson. Johnson batting .430 with 11 homers on the year. She plays third base. She got a lot of action in that Southside game. Did very well defensively. Both teams wearing white. It's a little different. There's no really rule against doing that in softball. So when the opportunity arises, sometimes both teams wear the same color. Still no outs here in the bottom of the first. 2 runs have scored.
I had to ask when I got here, one of the girls that helps out with the team, one of the managers, and I asked them, are they going to wear orange today? Because that's what Sanamaw always wears against East Ascension, but they're not wearing the orange, but they all are wearing orange ribbon around their ponytails, so they do have a little bit of orange in their jerseys or on their bodies today. And last time these two teams played, East Ascension wore their blue jerseys for the road team, and they probably didn't want to wear that again and lose twice in the same jerseys because everybody's superstitious in these sports.
Time is being called, and
it looks like they're going to talk to Coach Ricka about Toulier, perhaps. Toulier is at third base trying to make a comment either to the coach or to the umpire. I don't know if there's a uniform issue or anything like that.
I don't know, but this is an intense situation. It's a tense game all the way around. I mean, there's a lot on the line, but it adds so much when you're right down the street from each other.
Exactly. These two teams know each other very well. They probably played a lot of travel ball before you got to high school, and so some of these players have been teammates, and we were told that in the past by a couple of the Sanamaw coaches, as they know a lot of the players on that East Ascension side. It looks like the issue has been resolved, and Coach Tony is talking it over with the umpire, and I'm not quite sure what happened, but it seems to be a satisfactory conclusion without any argument.
1 ball, 1 strike to Olivia Johnson. Still no outs. Runners in scoring position at second and third. This pitch.
Has to do get ahead in the count. And this is the first time tonight she's been ahead in the count with a 1-2 situation. And she has to get through some innings here because the only other pitcher they really have on the roster that can pitch is Mackenzie Creel. So she's got to eat up a few innings here early on.
This was going to be a slow roll to first base. She'll take it herself, Will Blanchard, but 1 run will score, and we have 1 out. Let's take a look around the horn for East Ascension.
In the outfield, Adeline Bradbury in left, Hartley Berthelot in center, Zakiah Jackson in Right infield, first base, Emma Blanchard. Second base, Madison Stevens. Shortstop, Maya Lanou. Third base, Caden Touye. On the mound, Savannah Baker. Behind the plate is Avery Stevens.
So a 3-1 score, and a great job for Olivia Johnson to do her job. She advanced the runner and scored the runs. She gets the RBI, and Blanchard takes it herself on the slow roller. This is going to be a bunt laid down in front. Baker flips it. Run scores back to first. Everybody's safe. Unbelievable base running, and a great job that time for Sanamaw as Decato puts down the bunt right back to the pitcher. A little late on the flip to the catcher, and then just not in time at first base.
Yeah, the flip from Baker to Stevens was a little high. It looked like Tanner, the runner for Rabelais, was likely going to score anyway, and by the time they threw that to the plate, then they had no chance to get Decato at home. So fielder's choice and another run. It's 4-0 Sanamaw. 4-1 Sanamaw, excuse me.
Kenley Trish, the left fielder, steps to the plate, batting .231 on the season. Really good defensively in left field for Sanamaw. Called strike right down the pipe.
And this is not the way that you want to start for East Ascension, because when you fall behind Sanamaw, once their bats start getting hot, it's hard to calm them down because they, like I said, they score in bunches.
Looking to see who the courtesy runner is for Decato. I can't catch that number. We'll check in a second.
Yeah. I believe that's Rockefort.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
2-1.
It is, I believe, Rockefort.
Still only one out, which is hard to imagine. But like you said, when those bats get hot for Sanamaw, they're unrelenting. Called strike 2.
And here's the thing, not a lot of power in those at-bats. You had a couple of balls to the outfield, but a lot of those are infield hits and balls that just kind of bleed over the shortstop's head, and that's what you got to do is find the empty spaces and capitalize.
Sometimes in baseball and softball, you can hit the ball really hard, but you're right at somebody. This one is going to tail, and the catch is made in foul territory by Zakiah Jackson. So we have 2 away now. But as I was saying, you can hit it hard right to somebody. And then you can not hit it as hard, and it just finds the gap. It finds the hole, just like you were saying. And it's the beauty and the pain of baseball, softball.
Right. And in softball, if you can get a couple of leadoff hitters who can slap the ball down the third base side, and you can take advantage of their speed, and that's what you really have with Dakota and Moran. And Amy Petrie's teams have always had that. And so that's really no surprise.
Good job by Stevens to catch that high pitch. This is Lauren Allen, who is the designated player for Sanamaw. She comes in batting an even .200. She came in late in the Southside game and did fairly well. Hit the ball a couple times. Whew, that was a heater. Rise ball and just went above the bat for Allen swinging. Evens the count at 1-1.
Sanamaw can just manufacture runs, and this is what you've seen so far as the base running has, you talked about avoiding the chaos, and that's what East Ascension has not been able to do this inning.
Touye scoops, steps and throws, and that will retire the side. 3 hits, 4-run score on 3 hits, no errors, and we head to the top of the second. We'll be back right after this. You're watching the REV Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Haley Leindecker with Action Therapy and Wellness in Gonzales, and I'm here to show you some of the services we offer to help get you out of pain and back in action.
Dry needling involves inserting thin, sterile needles into trigger points within muscles to release tension, reduce pain, and improve movement. It's highly effective for muscle tightness, chronic pain, and headaches. Joint manipulation. By applying a quick, controlled force to a joint, we can restore mobility, reduce stiffness, and relieve pain. Cupping therapy uses suction cups to increase blood flow, reduce muscle tension, and promote healing. With instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization, we apply targeted pressure to break down scar tissue and speed up recovery.
Action Therapy and Wellness specializes in physical therapy, sports therapy, occupational, and hand therapy. Just remember, no referrals needed. Give us a call today.
It will be the Lady Spartans starting things off with the number 6-hole hitter, Madison Stevens, followed by Savannah Baker and Adeline Bradbury to start this second inning. They got one run in that first inning. They got to start clawing back some of these runs that they gave up in the first.
Right, and I want to go back to your key to victory right there, playing clean in the field as they made some decisions with some base runners that caused them to give up a couple of extra runs, and that's what got Sandoval 4, and that's what put them in the hole there. So I want to give you some a shout-out for observing what's going to probably happen in this game.
Well, I appreciate the shout-out. I take them whenever I can get them. They're very rare.
Oh, you nailed it.
I'm shouted at a lot, but not shouted out a lot. 1-1 the count to our leadoff batter, Madison Stevens.
One thing about this Sandoval team is that's different from East Ascension. If Baker and Creel are basically their only options on the mound. If Decato runs into some trouble, you've got some other pitchers that can go out there like Haley Hebert and Kendall Landry and Brentley Burke.
3-1 the count. Again, they've had a tendency, as Sandoval, to put that first runner on. Let's see if they can avoid that in this top of the second. And they cannot as they walk the first batter. The second time in 2 innings that Decato has walked the first batter.
And I want to point this out, too, Jimmy, another shout-out. Stop putting the leadoff hitter on base. That was one of your keys to Sandoval's side. They got the leadoff hitter on base in the first. She scored.
Yep.
Now they have the leadoff hitter in the second. We'll see what happens with her as we progress.
This is Savannah Baker at the plate. She's batting .343. Called strike.
And even though she's a number 7 hitter, she's very dangerous. She took one out the park in the game that we covered here at Sandoval head-to-head last time we had these two teams.
Conditions a little different than that game. It was very, very windy. We got light winds today. There's going to be a bunt laid down. Coming back is Olivia Johnson to make the catch and throw her out at first base, and we have one down.
And that's a good job right there. Basically managing the chaos is the way you kind of described it. As they you had the bunt, and the third baseman had picked it up very clean, and the second baseman Causey's there to cover the bag and make the out.
Adeline Bradbury now stepping into the batter's box, batting .305. This one will be a fly ball to center field and caught as she scoots to her right, makes the grab. Nice job for Moran. That's the second out.
And when you talk about the difference with hits, that's another thing you brought up there, Jimmy, is sometimes when you hit the ball hard, you hit it right to the player in the field, and that was a solid hit ball, but right to Moran, who played her perfectly.
Oh, it looks like Decato, although she walked the first leadoff batters in first 2 innings, she's pretty strong once she get into the latter part of the innings. She's really coming on.
Yeah, she runs into some problems. She can give up some walks here and there, and she can give up a little bit of traffic on the bases, but she always seems to recover and not put herself in a 3-4 run inning situation.
Pitch high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And this is Zakiah Jackson, the 9-hole hitter, batting .333. Fouls it off. That'll be onto the baseball field.
Big pitch right here. If you can get out of this inning without giving up a leadoff base runner scoring, They will have done a really good job here, and I think they
Did she
just
go
did.
around? And she did. Ring her up for the second strikeout. Checked out, yes, the second strikeout of the ball game, and that ends the inning, and we head to the middle of the second inning. It's time to take a look at what's happened over the last 5 years for the Lady Spartans.
And the turnaround has been nothing short of miraculous when you look at what they have done starting in 2021. After COVID, this program was not in a good place. I believe they were winless in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure Lyle will correct me if I did, but they were not very good. Then they got to the bi-district round, and they reached the regionals, and then once the coaching change happened where Coach Tony came in, look at what's going on. They moved to the quarterfinals, and they're back to the quarterfinals. They're one win away from getting to Sulphur for the second year in a row. Last season, they were one pitch away as they were ahead in the bottom of the seventh at Ponchatoula, then gave up a grand slam, walk-off grand slam that lost the game. They were that close to getting to Sulphur last season, but they're close again this season.
Sandoval will start off with the 9-hole hitter Riley Causey and then go back to the top of the order with Dakota and Moran. Did you happen to stay up late and watch that LSU game last night?
I sure did. That's why I am running a little late
That's
today.
why you were bleary-eyed when I saw you this morning?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I fell asleep, and then I woke up probably after midnight, and then I kept on watching because I just had a feeling something good was going to happen. And sometimes I get lucky.
Talk about the crystal ball. That's a beautiful job there.
Yeah, I just had a feeling that when LSU and Tennessee play, it's always a good time, and it's always a good time when EA plays Sandoval. And with Causey in that 9-hole, they're expecting a little slap to the left side with the left-handed hitter, and the infield is playing all in right now to prevent that.
Outside to Causey. Evens it at 1-1.
I'm sure our viewers are very familiar with these two teams, and you talked about how it's been so long since East Ascension has beaten Sandoval.
Slapper right to Tullier on her knees, throws in time. Well, that's why she's a USA player and all around the country.
Absolutely. That was just a great stab right there, and you got to have great reflexes when you're in that third base spot, and you got to have a good arm, and she just displayed both of those right there. As the reflexes, that ball was a little bit to her left, and that could have gotten all the way down to the corner, and that would have been extra bases. So she prevents extra bases and gets the first out.
You mentioned it before, is that Tullier is fearless at third. I mean, she's playing maybe 5 yards or 15, 20 feet away from the bag toward the batter, and that ball's coming quick.
Yep, and she just has some of the best instincts that I've seen from a third baseman here in Ascension Parish softball.
Bailey Dakota had a base hit, scored a run in the first. She's back at the plate, bounces off her face, and she's out.
Yeah, that was in the infield, I believe, as the ball was in play.
Right. So
now the first base coach strongly disagrees, and now Amy Petrie is going to have a word with the umpire, and she's going to make sure that that's what she called. Now they're going to go maybe have a conference with the other umpire. That might be what she's asking what the other umpires saw.
So the situation would be that it was a fair ball in the infield and then hit her as it spun back, right?
I believe so. That's what it looked like from my vantage point. And I'm sitting right at the line down the first base line into right field. So I had a good view of it, and that's what it looks like to me.
Do we have a replay by chance? No, sir. No, ma'am.
And so now after discussion, they're going to say that it did hit her in foul territory.
Okay.
And it was close. That's all I'll say. It was very close.
Well, of course, we have no video backup in softball in high school. You can go back and check the replay in college, but not yet in high school. Maybe that's coming one day, but not here yet.
And Coach Tony obviously is not happy with that decision.
Fans weren't too pleased either in the in their blue T-shirts.
Right, and they've made quite a showing here. Like I said, standing room only. They have brought the crowd. As you might know, the field is kind of compact because it's butted up against the left field wall of the baseball field, and on the right side of the field you got the track.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of room for seating, so everybody's standing right now.
1 ball, 1 strike. They had to make sure they got the pitch count correct, and they did not the pitch count, but the actual ball strike count. That was high and inside. Had to duck a little bit.
And one other point that we all know, if there is a shorter travel distance in 5A or Division I, I'd like to see it, because this is literally a 5-minute drive if you're going pretty at a good clip. I think that's what took me today. I might have to slow down. People might be looking for me now.
3 balls, 1 strike to the batter. We have only 1 out, as things thought we had 2, but it was overturned after discussion by the umpires. And that will be ball 4. So thinking that they had 2 outs in the inning, and the wheels kind of come off a little bit on that after that situation.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation because East Ascension desperately needs a clean inning, as Baker needs to build her confidence, as she gave up 4 runs in the first. Now you got a base runner, and this is where the chaos that you talk about often happens. This is the leadoff hitter, so you're talking about a girl with 19 stolen bases.
Thought she was going to go there, but she changed her mind. She got she got a third of the way and changed her mind. This is Riley Moran at the plate. She had a base hit and scored a run.
Right, that was a bunt base hit.
Way outside, the runner going, throw down to second. In time, but off the mark, about 4 or 5 feet in front of the bag.
And this is what Amy Petrie's teams do. And she's got that unique blend, because the top of the lineup can play small ball with anybody in this state. But then you also have some power hitters in the middle of the lineup who can mash. Like you knew about A.J. Jackson and Alex Franklin in the past, but they got some mashers on this team as well.
High once again, runs the count 3-0.
And that's a sign of a good coach when you can have small ball and gorilla ball in the same lineup. And that's what she can do.
Yeah, and it's not like she's building them from the transfer portal or anything.
Exactly.
You got to build with the team that you have and build those players and their confidence. It's a called strike on the corner.
And she needed that, because if you can get first and second with the speed of Ducote and Moran, that could cause a lot of problems. It caused a lot of problems in that first inning.
Fouled off the screen.
Now, the winner of this game is going to get Sam Houston in the semifinals, which you're happy to get there, but I'm going to talk about what happens when you face Sam Houston probably after this pitch or in the next couple of pitches.
By all accounts, they are the number 1 seed, but they are a strong number 1 as well, and that will be ball 4. So that puts Moran at first. 2 straight walks now for Baker, and you've got runners at first and second. Brings up Kinley Mesh walked, scored a run in the first.
And this is what happens when you have one unfortunate circumstance where you had the batter who was called out for touching the ball in the field of play, but they ruled that it was a foul ball after a little bit of discussion, right. And it changed the entire complexion of this inning.
Yes, and that is exactly right. I mean, I think you do appreciate the umpires going and talking about it and making sure they get the right call as a consensus decision.
Yeah, you got to do that.
But it still hurts if you're a Lady Spartan.
Right, and it was a close play, and now Coach Tony's going to have a discussion with the home plate umpires. I believe we are about to get our pitching change as they're going to go to Mackenzie Creel on the mound, and that's going to finish Savannah Baker for the time being, as it looks like she's going to just swap spots with her. It doesn't look like she's going to grab a glove or anything. So Mackenzie Creel is going to come in. Now, she was the designated player, so likely what's going to happen is they're just going to flip-flop positions, but both stay in the batting order. So Mackenzie Creel has a 6.56 ERA. She is 12-4. She leads the team in wins, and she has given up 99 earned runs, 116 overall, and she's walked 36 and struck out 36. So her big advantage would be that she doesn't walk as many batters as Baker does.
Baker's still responsible for Ducote and Moran on the base paths. She comes in a tough situation with 2 balls. Now 3 balls to the batter, and that's Kinley Mesh. So 3-0 the count, still only 1 out. We'll see if Creel can light a fire in this defense a little bit. Rocks and fires and called for the strike.
It's a tough situation to be put in when you are inheriting a 2-0 count.
Again, Lanou in the first trip to the plate walked and ended up scoring the only run of the ball game so far for East Ascension. Now, Coach Petrie, check that.
Coach Tony.
Coach Tony,
there,
yeah. Ball 3.
So trying to give up a base runner here for the 3rd straight inning. Both the previous 2 came from walks.
This one's popped up. It's going to be playable. Calling off is Causey, and Causey makes the grab. But, boy, that was a dangerous little play right there in foul territory behind first base.
I thought she did a good job waving off Kinley Mesh, who looked like she was going to make the play, but she had it all along. But the problem was her momentum kind of forced her into the fence, and that kind of caused her to maybe nearly lose control of the ball in her glove. But it did not.
So Decato is able to break the streak, and they get the first out of the inning with the leadoff batter, and it brings up Caden Toulier. Toulier flew out to right field in the first. Again, she's a 500 hitter.
Yep, so she's due.
And she has 12 home runs, I believe.
Yes, you are correct.
That one was a nice riser, and Toulier can't catch up to it.
It's really important that when Toulier comes to bat, nobody is on base, and that's what they have right here, because one base runner could turn into an RBI or putting them in scoring position. Now you have another 3-ball count. Had the 3-ball count to Lanou, but got her to pop up.
That one's called right down the pipe. Even runs the count full. Big pitch coming up for Decato. I think it fooled Toulier a little bit that time.
Yeah. I think she thought it might be inside.
And that will be a fair ball past the third baseman, Johnson. It'll go into left field, and Toulier turns it into a double. Well done.
Very aggressive base running. She always does that. She can turn a single into a double. That's exactly what she just did. And that's why I was talking about why it was so important to get Lanou out, because she would have likely scored.
Good point.
If she would have got on base on that base hit right there.
Just caught Johnson a little bit leaning toward the shortstop or toward second base, and it went right in between her and the bag. Called strike that time to Mackenzie Creel, who's stepping into the batter's box. Of course, she moved from the DP to pitcher.
Yes. And she missed a home run by less than a foot in the first inning.
And she did have that RBI to drive in Lanou. And this one will be popped out of play.
If she would have had the wind that we had in that previous game here at Santa Maria, that would have gone out by like 20 feet. Wind is not helping the batters here today. I believe he had 4 home runs in the previous matchup, or definitely 3. But the wind was blowing out about 20 miles an hour.
She managed to hold back. I don't know how she did it, but she did.
Yes. Good job.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Creel. Right-handed batter, now at pitcher when they're in the field.
Close pitch.
Even to the 2-2.
I think that the Santa Maria side wanted that. Rabelais framed it as if it was a strike, but the umpire called it a ball, and it's 2-2.
This one will be a flare out to right, and it's out of play over the fence. So that'll be somebody's turn to chase down one of the yellow balls, get it back to our umpire.
I'm sure one of the East Ascension fans who are lining the fences will take that very easily. Usually you don't see people line the fences unless it's a football game.
That's right.
They are lined up down the fence.
Ascension Parish knows the importance of this game, and the rivalry has just intensified all that much more. Called strike 3, and he rings her up. 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Decato.
I don't think East Ascension liked that call. That ball was on the low inside corner. Looked like a good pitch. I don't think that the Lady Spartan fans agreed with that call, but it was close enough that you had to do something with that one.
Brings up Emma Blanchard. Blanchard struck out, and this one will be a line shot. Actually bounces. And great job to scoop that one out of the ground for the senior Kinley Mesh. Good scoop on the short hop by Decato. And we head to the middle of the 3rd. How about the Lady Gators? What have they done in the last 5 years? Nothing really, right?
You know what they've done. Don't be coy. Back-to-back state championships in 2022, 2023, 2024. They were upset in the quarterfinals in 2021. That was A.J. Jackson's sophomore year, and I thought that they had a chance to win state that year, but they were upset in the quarterfinals. Now, 2020 obviously was the COVID year, and so nothing really happened that season, but they've won state championships before and after COVID. So they're looking for a 4-peat. And, yes, a lot of the seniors on this team may not have played when they were freshmen, but they could get 4 straight state championships during their tenure. That's something amazing, that you could go through your entire high school career and not avoid losing a state championship.
Unbelievable. And you'll probably see it. I know we will see it later. The picture of the seniors with their 3 rings that they show very prominently in the picture. The Lady Gators will start off with Braley Decato, followed by Kinley Trish and Lauren Allen, your 6, 7, and 8 hole hitters.
And, Jimmy, one thing I want to point out, this game is a 180 from the game that we covered here at Santa Maria a couple of weeks ago. In that game, East Ascension had the early lead, and Santa Maria had to come back. They took a 7-6 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning, and then they exploded for 7 runs, and that's what kind of blew that game wide open. But that was anybody's ball game for the first 5.5 innings.
Well, Creel, in her 2nd inning of work, has really got to jump on these guys early. If she could get a clean, quick inning, that would boost the confidence of this East Ascension squad. That one will be called strike.
And it's all down to her because they don't have anybody else besides Creel and Baker who really can be counted on to pitch here this afternoon.
A lot of pressure on the young ladies' shoulders. Evens the count 1-1. Decato got on base the first time up with a base hit.
That was that bouncer to the pitcher where they tried to throw to the plate and get the base runner, and then she was safe at the plate, and then by the time they threw to first base, it was too late.
Your mind is a steel trap, my friend.
I'm trying.
3-1 to the leadoff batter, Braley Decato. And that will Walker. So that is the second walk of the ball game for Mackenzie Creel, who's come in relief. We'll have a courtesy runner, Rockefeller.
Yeah, that's Rockefeller. And Trish will come to the plate. Second time in 3 innings that the leadoff hitter has reached base for Sanamo.
Kinley is only a sophomore, so she's got a lot of a career left here at Sanamo. Inside and high. Ball 1.
Big situation right here because you got 7, 8, 9 coming up. You don't want to have runners on base and get to the top of the lineup here in the 3rd inning.
Ooh, had to scoot back on that one. Well, when you got Causey batting .379 in the 9-hole spot, I mean, that's saying you got a pretty good batting order up and down the lineup.
And we were talking about LSU where you got the Stanfield in the 9 spot where you have basically a second leadoff hitter in that 9 spot. That's kind of what she is.
Good way to look at it. That's 3 straight balls from Creel. Four straight pitches, 4 straight balls, and you've got the 2 leadoff hitters on base here in the 3rd.
And unless you can get a double play, you're going to see the top of that lineup.
Right.
And that's something you don't want to do with the 481 Dakota and 337 Moran hitting 1-2 in the Lady Gator lineup.
The DP, Lauren Allen, stepped to the plate. She was the 3rd out of the 1st inning with the grounder to Toulier. She gunned her down at first. But it was a hot, sharply hit ball.
Gets back ahead of the pitcher ahead of the hitter for the first time in a while here. First baseman coming in. They're looking bunt.
Squaring the bunt. Toulier got a one barehanded over to first. The ball gets away from Blanchard at first base. 1 run scores. And they're manufacturing runs here. Runners in scoring position at 2nd and 3rd in the RBI.
And that's going to be a tough call right there, but I think that has to be an E5.
I will take it.
But it got just past Stevens. It was a little bit wide. Stevens had to stretch a little bit. Clean throw to her would have gotten the out. And so that's a tough error to charge to her, but I think that's what we're going to call it right there. It's got 2nd and 3rd with no outs. And it's 6-1.
It also looked like Toulier was kind of let the ball roll a little longer than she wanted to, thinking it may spin out foul, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And she finally had to just barehand it and throw it quickly because the time was running out fast. Coach Ricka goes to the mound to calm Creel down a little bit, get everybody back on track. 6-1 here in the bottom of the 3rd, and it brings up Riley Causey, the 9-hole hitter, again batting .379 on the season. She also grounded out to Causey.
And everybody knows what she's going to do. She's going to try to bunt or slap right here in the infield playing in.
She grounded out to Toulier, excuse me.
Yeah, that was that one that she stabbed with the quick reflexes.
Pulled back that time on the bunt, and it's a ball. We still have no outs. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Trish is at 3rd. Allen is at 2nd. Drops it. Foul ball.
East Ascension has the bats. to overcome a deficit like this. But if it gets to 8 or 9-1, then you got to start wondering about it.
Right. Yeah. And they just have to eliminate the walks. I mean, that's number one. If you get rid of the walks, let your defense do their jobs in the field, and then the bats come through. Swung on and missed.
A little bit of a surprise right there. You see Coach Petrie giving her instructions. I can't read the sign, so I'm not going to tell you what she called.
Nope. No sign stealing in this press box, and that was going to be another slapper, and she will strike out. That'll be the first strikeout of the ball game for Creel, and we head to the top of the order.
And so now you got the 481 Dakota, who leads the team with 63 hits. If she can get her 65th hit, because she's already got one today,
right?
That can make it an 8-1 ball game.
Way outside and low that time to Dakota. Dakota base hit to lead the ball game off in the bottom of the third, did score a run. She scored twice. She was walked in the second, and here she is in the third.
Also has a stolen base.
Again, outside. They do have a base to put her on, but you don't want to walk Dakota and then have Riley Moran coming up. So
right, and after that, then you get to your power hitters.
And that will get in the gap between first and second into right field. One run coming in, and they'll hold the runner at third. So a base hit RBI for Bailey Dakota, and my goodness, the onslaught has begun.
Yeah, and that was a good decision by Coach Petrie to leave Allen at third base, because Zakiah Jackson came in with a hot throw right there and would not have had a chance. And you did see the runner at third, Allen, kind of slip as she got past the bag. So that makes the score 7-1, and you still got a runner in scoring position.
This is Riley Moran. We talked about her a second ago. She's no slouch at the plate, and that will advance Dakota to second base just easily there.
Right, uncontested with the runner at third. It's almost like they're giving you the bag. You don't want to, like you said, your words, don't give in to the chaos.
It's hard sometimes because you want to make something happen. You know you're down 7-1, so you're trying to press a little bit, and then that's when things really can go south.
Absolutely.
But it's hard, if you get it right, you do something special and spark something down the line. But it's just, it's. There's lots of time. There's lots of softball left here, so no reason to push the panic button yet. Call it strike. Evens the count at 2 apiece.
Mesh on deck. She's reached base twice with walks. So there's no relief after Moran here at the top of the lineup.
Check that. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. The post is right in the way of my line of vision here. Outside, ball 3.
There was really nowhere else we can go because they couldn't have found room for us today. We would
no.
The like you said, the chairs were out at 11 o'clock, lined up down the lines. So there was nowhere for us to set up except for in the box.
That will be a little looper. It's going to drop for a base hit. Another run will score. It literally hit second base. And nobody could get there because they were playing in and spread out a little bit. And it will have to be Berthelot from center field to come and scoop the ball up.
Right. She got the ball, and it was still in the dirt. Well, in the tan.
Right.
We're not going to call it the dirt. It was still in the tan. So there was no chance, even with Dakota being as fast as she is, to score from third. So that makes it 8-1.
So you've got Dakota at third, as you mentioned. Moran is at first with the RBI, and she will go to second. They'll throw to second, and Dakota was not moving at third, but a good job that time by the shortstop covering Lanou, who was ready to gun her if she did.
And so now that's a second stolen base for Moran. That gets her up to 30 on the season.
This is Kinley Mesh.
Umpire not giving her any of the close pitches, and she's hoping to get a little bit of relief here because she's the only option that they have left pretty much in the circle.
Outside and high. 2-0.
That's actually 3-0 with that missed call right there. In danger of loading the bases for Rabelais and Johnson.
Called strike. That was a take all the way.
Yep.
Force Creel to throw a strike here to run the count full, but it's 3-1 at the moment with only one out. You've got runners in scoring position. Dakota's at third. Fouled back. Now it's 3-2.
Good job coming back from that 3-0 count. Needs this out very badly.
That may be the understatement, my friend.
Yep. This game in danger of unraveling.
3 balls, 2 strikes to the batter, Kinley Mesh. And she will foul this one back into the screen on the the left field side. Third base side, I should say.
Santa Maria got 4 in the first. They got 1 in the second, 3 so far here in the third. They love crooked numbers.
Well, they continue to put them up, and she will foul that one back. Stays alive. Luckily, she got a piece of it.
Yep.
It looked like a tentative swing. Like she wanted to change her mind, but she couldn't.
Yeah, that was a ball. That was up at the Santa Maria letters.
Still in the bottom of the third inning. 8-1 is your score. 3 balls, 2 strikes to the batter, and that will walk her and load the bases.
And now you got the combined 15 home runs in the next 2 batters coming to the plate. And the second of the 2, Johnson, flirted with a home run in the previous inning.
4 walks in the game for Creel since entering in relief in the second. And this will bring up Brooke Rabelais, the catcher. She has 2 RBIs and a single.
Good pitch.
Reached on a fielder's choice. Seventh batter in this inning for Lady Gators. High. So we've got Dakota at third, Moran's at second, Mesh is at first after the walk.
Just waiting for the pitchers to throw a strike right here. A lot of patience right here by the Santa Maria batters.
Fouled into the baseball field. Evens the count at 2-2. Still only 1 out. Looking over the inning so far, we've had 2 hits, an error, and like you said, 3 runs have scored. Checking her armband is Creel to see what pitch we're going to throw, and the 2-2 pitch on the way. This one is a flare, a little looper, and it will scoot out of play and uncatchable for Jackson in right field.
Trying to push one out in that direction, which would have gone for extra bases if she can just straighten it out a little bit.
Yeah, if you're going to draw it, you got to get it started out, away from the green so you can plop it up there.
Looks like one of my golf shots back in the day.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, the flag is way out the other way.
Yep.
High. 3 balls, 2 strikes to the batter. These Santa Maria Lady Gators doing a good job of getting deep in the count.
Yep, and a walk will drive in a run.
No place to put her for Rabelais. Let's see what she does. Big payoff pitch. And it's driven into center field. And it's gone! A granny for Rabelais as she puts it over the center field fence. 4-run score. It makes it 12-1, and all of a sudden, this thing is wide open.
What a shot right there by Rabelais. Not wind aided. The flags are straight down. So she got just great contact. It didn't go over the fence by much, but that was a beauty. Line drive to center field for the grand slam, and now the score is 12-1. Lady Gators on top. They are feeling really good about their chances to return to Sulphur.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that was just a towering shot after fouling off some pitches. Got the count to full, and the payoff pitch was paid off this time, unfortunately, for the Lady Spartans. The Lady Gators cashed in. And Creel still has to be out there fighting with only one out. So the bases are cleared after the grand slam home run by Rabelais, and it brings up Olivia Johnson.
So that's a 7-run inning so far.
And this one is hit hard to left. Foul. These batters are feeling it right now. They are just enjoying their trips to the plate.
Just got an update for baseball. Only one team left in Ascension Parish still alive, and Dutchtown's playing a Game 3 with Natchitoches Central today. Winner take all. That game is tied 1-1 right now.
Baseball's a little different than softball. They play the best of 3 in all the rounds of the playoffs. And this one will be a little golf shot. It is a high pop fly to left field. Making the grab for the second out is Bradbury, but it was a long looping play all the way out to the wall.
Yeah, nearly got out of here. She just got a little bit underneath it like you suggested, but that still took Bradbury all the way to the wall. And now the Lady Gators are going to bat around as Decato is going to come to the plate again.
Decato has a base hit on the afternoon and a walk. This one straightaway center field, deep again, but that will retire the side. But not before a lot of things happen, including a grand slam. 3 hits, 1 error, no one left on, and 8 runs. 6-run score. No, I'm going to do my 7-run score. I'll do my math later on. We're going to head to the 4th, back right after this on the Rev Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Haley Leindecker with Action Therapy and Wellness in Gonzales, and I'm here to show you simple exercises to improve shoulder strength and thoracic mobility for all athletes.
Resisted external rotation will strengthen your rotator cuff. Stand tall with your arms straight out and the elbow bent at 90 degrees. Keeping your elbow in place, rotate your arm outward against the resistance. For internal rotation, set up the same 90-90 arm position, but with the resistance anchored on the same side. Rotate your arm inward, bringing your hand towards the ground while keeping your elbow fixed. This is called open books and half kneeling. The resistance band is held forward with both hands. Rotate your upper body open to the side, pulling the band across while keeping your lower body stable.
Action Therapy and Wellness specializes in physical therapy, sports therapy, occupational, and hand therapy. Just remember, no referrals needed. Give us a call today.
The Lady Spartans don't have to get it all back in this inning, but they got to get something going here as they trail 12-1 here in the top of the 4th. They will start off with the 5-hole hitter Avery Stevens, followed by Madison Stevens, twins, by the way, and Savannah Baker will be the 3rd batter of the inning.
Now, the winner of this game, and right now Santa Maria is in good shape, they will be playing against Sam Houston, and both of these teams may not be looking forward to that, or who knows, maybe they are because they could get revenge. Sam Houston run-ruled both of these teams. They beat Santa Maria by a score of 12-1. They beat East Ascension by a score of 15-0.
Wow. Decato back on the mound, trying to get a nice, easy inning here as Avery Stevens steps to the plate. And she has got to do whatever she can to get on base to start things off for East Ascension. Called strike when it's 1-1.
Yeah, I was talking to our producer, Lyle Boudra, and I said, Lyle, there's a pretty good chance that all four teams might make it to Sulphur out of 5-5A. He said, no way, Sam Houston's too good, and he was absolutely right so far. As they run-ruled Live Oak in the quarterfinals. So they look like a machine right now, but one game can make a big difference.
Driven, line drive, base hit, and that's how you start things off when you're trying to get something going. Avery Stevens, first base runner in quite a while for the East Ascension Lady Spartans.
So you're going to get a courtesy runner. I believe that's Bourgeois, number 15. Yes. That's Riley Bourgeois running for Stevens.
Madison Stevens, her twin, will step up to the plate. Let's see if she can do the exact same thing and keep this twin thing going. Can't start clawing back until you have a base runner, and they do. So,
right.
Avery did her job.
And you want to, it's not a want to, it's a need. You have to get some runs to avoid getting run ruled before you get into the upcoming innings. So they need a run somewhere.
Madison swings at that one and misses. 0-2 the count. A little high.
One other point I want to make about Sam Houston. We go back to, I believe it was 2014. You had three teams from 5-5A that made the tournament in Sulphur. That was Dutchtown, East Ascension, and Santa Ma. And Sam Houston was the fourth team that season as well, which could potentially happen if Dutchtown can win their softball game today. They're 0-0. But in that season, Dutchtown made it to the championship game taking on Sam Houston, and Sam Houston won it all that season as well.
Yep, Dutchtown playing, just getting underway about 15 minutes ago against West Washita, the number 11 seed, Dutchtown the 3 seed.
Yeah, the West Washita team upset Airline, I believe it was.
Pop up in the infield, a can of corn will be taken by Causey. And we've got one away.
And so 3 times in the first 4 innings, Decato's given up a leadoff base runner. But she's gotten out of it once, and she got the first out right there. She can come back from giving up an early base runner.
Savannah Baker was the pitcher. She was relieved and now playing as the DP. So as you mentioned earlier, just swapping spots with Mackenzie Creel when she came on to pitch. Strike 2. And I'm telling you, Decato, she has her moments, but when she is throwing strikes, she really paints that plate very well. 0-2 the count to the batter, Baker. And this one will be another infield pop-up. Called on is Lanou, and she's got to work hard to find it. And there's not much wind, but way up in the atmosphere like that, it was moving on her a little bit, but she's able to make the catch.
Right, that was Dakota over at shortstop for Santa Ma. But you're absolutely right. That ball was hit a mile high, and I think she caught a break with this lack of wind out here today, because if the wind would have been blowing, that would have wreaked some havoc for sure.
Bradbury, runner going. Rabelais throws this one into center field. It was a tough play for the shortstop, Dakota, to make that catch. But still, from her knees, Rabelais got an arm.
Yep. And I think she kind of caught everybody sleeping right there with the 2-out first pitch. As Bourgeois is going to get her 16th stolen base of the year.
Bradbury at the plate, and this one will be a hard shot to center field, and it's gone. She takes it over the top. She scores the RBI, the 2-run homer for Savannah Baker, for Bradbury, who crushes it over the center field wall.
And that ball was even better hit than the grand slam that we saw from Rabelais. That one was a no-doubter. It looked like a line drive. You wondered if it would have enough to get out there, but it cleared even the second wall, made it over the Sprout sign over toward the T buildings that are in center field. So that now makes it a 12-3 game.
Right. It's 12, it's not 13.
So now you're in that situation where you, at least for now, can avoid a 10-run rule as you get into the later innings.
And that was the 8-hole hitter who knocks it over the wall. Brings up Zakiah Jackson now, the 9-hole hitter, batting .333. Struck out in the second inning for only trip to the plate. And this was a little pop-up, called off, and makes the play. And that will retire the side, but not before a 2-run home run by Adeline Bradbury. And we head to the middle of the fourth. Take a look at some seniors for East Ascension.
Yeah, you have a young team at East Ascension. There's a lot of juniors on this team, and so you expect them to be back next season, very competitive. But the 3 seniors, they've done a great job, and of course Maya Lanou, they're going to miss her a lot at that shortstop position. But you also have Anna Grace Johnson and Toby Landry, who are trying to avoid playing their last game in a Lady Spartan uniform today. Right now they're down 12-3, but there's still 3 more innings of baseball to be played, 3.5 innings. We're only halfway done with this game right now, Jimmy, perhaps.
You're right, and it's hard to believe. It has been a good one for the Lady Gators, and let me tell you, that's how you only got to get a couple at a time, and and that was a good job for the Lady Spartans in the fourth.
Right, you have 3 more at-bats for the Lady Spartans in the 5th, 6th, and 7th if they can extend this game. And so it's not good when the number of outs left equal the number of runs you're behind. That's a tough situation.
Kenley Trish followed by Lauren Allen and Kylie Causey. Trish at the plate. It's going to be a foul ball down the third base line.
But that was really key right there by Bradbury getting that home run, because you got the momentum back on your side a little bit, or at least swung it away from Sanamaw, because that 7-run inning in the third really kind of broke their backs, but they got back up swinging. That's a good sign.
Hard shot to Toulier. Toulier scoops and throws, and we've got one away.
And that's what we usually see from her, easy scoop and an easy throw for the easy out. So that gets the first batter up.
Creel needs this quick inning. She needs this to be a quick one, because that last one was a marathon. Lauren Allen now at the plate. Grounded out to third, reached on an error, throwing error by Toulier. Ball 1.
Allen reached on an error by Toulier in the last inning and wound up coming all the way around to score. She also grounded to third.
Is it out of play? I think it is on top of the press box.
Yeah,
there it is.
It's going up the stairs, knocked on the door.
Let it in. Say hi. 1-1 the count. 1 out here in the bottom of 4. High.
One thing that East Ascension needs this inning that they haven't had so far is a clean inning. They've given up runs in the first 3, 4, 1, and 7.
Foul back. Staying alive. Again, Lauren Allen is the designated player today. came into bat late in the Southside game.
Another reason why you have to avoid this giving up a run this inning is because you don't want to be batting for your season in the 5th inning when you start talking about a run rule.
Right back to Creel. Creel easily takes it and throws to first for the out. It sounded like it was coming a lot harder than it actually did, as you'll see it right here on the replay. And boom, she just didn't even move. Right back to her.
And she's so casual, and I love that.
1-3, out number 2. And this will bring up Kylie Causey. Causey grounded out to Toulier and struck out.
She's a slap hitter, and Blanchard and Toulier have adjusted their position accordingly.
High and outside. 2 balls, no strikes to the batter.
She's 0 for 2 with the grounder to third and the strikeout, like you said.
A grand slam in the last inning by Sanama and another home run by East Ascension to follow suit in the top of this inning.
I wasn't sure if any balls would be getting out here today. I didn't bring it up at the beginning. If you remember, I had talked about how in that previous game I expected lots of long balls. Now the wind's blowing out at a good clip toward that left center field. But they didn't need the help for the first 2.
No, they did not. 4 straight pitches, 4 balls, and it puts Riley Causey at first. Back to the top of the order for Dakota. Moran, possibly, but Dakota for sure.
And the first 3 hitters in the Santa Maria lineup have come up to bat 9 times, and they've reached base all 9 times. Runners going.
Throw down. And again, the second baseman is covering there. That's Madison Stevens.
For Causey, that's stolen base number 14.
Squared to bunt, lays it down beautifully. Throw to first. Safe, but not by much. Tie to the runner. And I really kind of, from the angle we had, I thought she got her, but they did not do so.
I agreed with the umpire right there. It was a very close play, though. It was a bang play. But it was if it's so close that the 2 people in the press box disagree, then that tells you something.
Well, I certainly don't envy the boys in blue, but they have a tough job out there, and we appreciate what they do. But that advances the runner and keeps the inning alive. Runner going to second base. They cut it off with the shortstop Lanou just in case they were going to flirt with the Causey going home, and they did not. But now you got 2 runners in scoring position.
Yeah, and now you're flirting with that 10-run rule again coming up when you head to the 5th. EA has to come out with a clean inning.
Creel rocking and firing, throwing the ball. It's 1-1 to the batter, Moran. Moran has had a productive day. She's got 2 base hits and walked. Scored twice. Foul straight back. Almost hit her off the screen.
off the ricochet. I don't even think she
didn't realize it.
Realize anything. So now the top 3 hitters are 10 for 10 getting on base.
Great stat.
Yep.
Dribbler, high chopper, over to first base, Toulier to Blanchard, and no run score. That's the first time in the ball game, and we head to the top of the 5th inning. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back right after this. You are watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Hi, Hi, I'm Haley Leindecker with Action Therapy and Wellness in Gonzales, and I'm here to show you some of the services we offer to help get you out of pain and back in action.
Dry needling involves inserting thin, sterile needles into trigger points within muscles to release tension, reduce pain, and improve movement. It's highly effective for muscle tightness, chronic pain, and headaches. Joint manipulation. By applying a quick, controlled force to a joint, we can restore mobility, reduce stiffness, and relieve pain. Cupping therapy uses suction cups to increase blood flow, reduce muscle tension, and promote healing. With instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization, we apply targeted pressure to break down scar tissue and speed up recovery.
Action Therapy and Wellness specializes in physical therapy, sports therapy, occupational, and hand therapy. Just remember, no referrals needed. Give us a call today.
To start the fifth, the Lady Spartans are at the top of the order with Maya Lanou, Caden Toulier, and Mackenzie Creel. Big inning here. They clawed two back on the home run from Bradbury. Now they've got to see if they can just keep chipping away. They've got lots of softball left here, but they've got to chip away.
They avoided the 10-run rule situation here with that 2-run homer by Bradbury, but now they got to start thinking about chipping back into this lead. And so a 2-run spot was good, but you need a 3 or a 4 or maybe even more than that here in this inning.
Baseball, top of the fifth, Dutchtown leading 5-1. And in softball, they're still scoreless after 2.
A couple of big games for the Griffins. If the boys can win, they have a quarterfinal date at Barb. If the girls can win, they would take on Walker over in Sulphur.
Again, I'm amazed by the talent and just the sheer strength of this 5-5A district. Might be the SEC of softball.
Yeah, it really is. They take their softball really seriously around here, and there's a good system with the youth programs and the travel ball and all that around here, and that's what kind of contributes to all of that. And it's every school around here, including Prairieville, that this came online this year. You have 4 really, really good programs, and then you got the 3 in Livingston Parish as well.
3-1 the count to the leadoff batter, Lanou, and called strike to run the count full. That was a big pitch by Decato.
Absolutely.
Again, Decato seems to not struggle. That's not the right word, but have a little trouble with the first batter in the inning. And then, boom, she gets stronger after that first batter. And this one will be a walk and put her on base. Second walk of the game for Maya Lanou.
4th leadoff base runner in 5 innings.
Caden Toulier will step up. She flew out to right field her first trip to the plate. Got a double as the only hit of the inning in the 3rd.
Really one of the keys that goes unnoticed in the first inning was you had the leadoff walk to Lanou, and then the very next pitch, on the first pitch, got Toulier to fly out easily to right field, and that kind of kept that inning from blowing up.
Very good point. Because it did look like East Ascension was coming out really strong and gunning in that first inning. 0-2 the count to Toulier here. An incredible defensive third baseman. Plays for Team USA, travels all over the place playing softball. A little off-speed pitch that time in the dirt.
Really wanted her to chase some junk right there. Don't want to put anything with a 0-2 count anywhere near the strike zone. But Toulier knows better than that.
Another slow pitch, off-speed pitch.
And a runner steals second. That's stolen base number 27 for Lanou. This could potentially be her final game. We talked about that last inning, and she doesn't want that to happen, and she's gonna fight till the end. Toulier
will be back. She's only a junior.
Yep. And she's back in this count from 0-2 to 3-2.
Let's see what Decatur can do here on the payoff pitch. No outs here in the top of the fifth, and that will walk her. Second straight walk for Decatur.
Now the question might come in, how long do you keep Decatur in? You've got Landry and Abear who could come in and pitch, as they're going to have a little team discussion on the mound, and their pitching coach is going to come out and discuss the strategy with no outs and the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up. This is what you need for East Ascension. Get those 2 base runners on, because if you can get those runs in and keep this inning going strong, you can find yourself right back in this ball game with another big inning or 2.
Getting a little swig of water as our umpires. No outs, 2 runners on. Toulier is at first. Both walked on. Lanew's at second. Toulier is at first. Brings up Mackenzie Creel. Creel had a double and an RBI in the first that scored Lanew, and she KO'd in the third. Fouled back.
If I was guessing, part of the conversation there, as you see the infield all playing behind the base runners, is don't make a big mistake. Get the easy out. You're up by 9 runs. If these 2 runners score, you're still in good shape. You're still up by 7.
Out of the zone, 1-1.
Santa Maria in a good position right now, 9 outs away from victory. Probably need to be reminded of that right now.
Rabelais tried to frame it, but it was low. 2 balls and a strike. Let's see what Decatur can do here. She's going to have to pull deep from within. Base hit, scores at least 1. And that is more than a base hit if it stays fair. And it is foul.
Yeah, that was a bomb. And it wasn't foul by much.
Got a 2-2 count, and that ball was screaming. Tailing just off.
And remember, she hit the first inning, her at-bat. She hit a shot that was a foot away from being a home run.
She steps back into the batter's box with a 2-2 count. Off-speed pitch, doesn't get her to chase it. Boy, it's amazing just how much slower that changeup is.
Yep.
And it looks like it's just like baseball. It looks like the same motion, and boom, it just comes out and kind of. And that one will be driven off the wall and out of here. Another home run for East Ascension, and she trips on second base, but that won't matter. So that's a 3-run shot, and we all of a sudden have a 12-6 ball game.
And the run rule is definitely out of the equation right now, and now East Ascension is only down 6. They have scored 5 straight after falling behind 12-1. And they're on a good pace right now. If they can keep this momentum to get themselves right back into this ball game, as you see a discussion over in the circle. Well, you don't see it there, but I can see it from my vantage point. Basically telling everybody to settle down. It's still a 6-run game. These runs ultimately don't matter if you can get a few outs right here.
But there's no outs here in the top of the 5th. Those 2 walks hurt you a lot.
Yes.
Because if you don't put those 2 runners on, home run doesn't make that much. It makes some difference, but not as much as it just did. Call, swing and a miss, strike. This is Blanchard, Emma Blanchard stepping to the plate. She struck out and grounded out. So she's 0 for 2 on the evening, on the afternoon. Perfect afternoon for softball. A few little puffy clouds. Strike 2. All of a sudden, Decatur's found the groove again.
Right. Maybe just need a little wake-up call. And East Ascension definitely provided one right there.
Well, Coach Petrie said that, because they lost to Dutchtown and became co-district champions. Three straight swings, 3 straight strikes, and an out. That was a big one for Decatur. They lost to Dutchtown, so they became co-champions. Then they lost the next day to John Curtis, and they had been on a big winning streak. And really, Coach Petrie said, well, we need a little slap in the face.
Yeah.
And they've been playing great softball since. In the 2 game, well, this is the second game they've played in the playoffs. They had the bye in the first round. That one will be a little flare looper to beautiful catch in center field for the second out. Unbelievable from Moran, diving for it. Caught it just before it hit the ground. She was playing deep in center, and a huge out that time for the Lady Gators.
And that's a beautiful play by Riley Moran. And I want to finish your point. I think that they like to play with a little chip on their shoulder. They have the excellence already with the back-to-back state championships. But last season they didn't win district. Dutchtown won district.
Right.
They changed their pitchers in the postseason, and they still won a state championship. So they know how to respond, and they know how to take care of adversity. And a lot of people question whether or not they can make it back to Sulphur. They're now 5 outs away from reaching that goal.
High, 2 balls and a strike to the batter. This is Madison Stevens. Man, I just can't get over that highlight catch by Moran. Great job for her, because had she missed it, it would have rolled a long way because there was nobody backing her up.
You're right about that. It would have bounced all the way to the wall, perhaps, unless her body would have gotten away.
3 balls and 1 strike to the batter. Don't want to walk her if she can avoid that, and that is driven out to left field, and it's foul.
Got to wait for the umpire right there.
That's right. That's exactly what I did. I've learned my lesson. It's taken me a while. But they're still hitting the ball hard. They're hitting the ball a long way.
This is what EA does. They're going to score 7, 8 runs a game, but the problem is in some of those games they give up 10 or 12, and that's kind of what you see here today.
Pop up, first base at the in-foul territory, and that will do it, but not before a 3-run home run does some damage as we head to the middle of the 5th inning, and we have the Lady Gators leading 12-6. Let's take a look at the Lady Gators seniors.
And they are trying to get 4 straight state championships. And you see on the front row, Kinley Mesh, Lauren Allen, Amaya Franklin, and Ava Vicknair. In the back, you have Haley Hebert, Riley Moran, and Morgan Blackwell. And you see them showing off their rings, and you see some of them have 3 rings, meaning that they played on this team for their freshman, sophomore, and junior seasons. They will not get 1 for the thumb unless they get held back or something like that, which is not going to happen. They're all going to walk in a couple of weeks. But that would be something that you could tell your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, you never lost a state championship at home.
Most
or
people,
while you were in school.
Most people do not even sniff a state championship. I mean, They don't even come close, most teams. They have 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
All right. Kinley Mesh, the 3-hole hitter, will be up, followed by Brooke Rabelais and Olivia Johnson.
And we talked about how they didn't have a state championship in that COVID year because he didn't play. The year before, in 2019, they did.
Yep.
So that's 4 out of 5 of the seasons that were finished. 4 out of the last 5, if you take 2020 out of the equation.
Creel back in the circle for the Lady Spartans. And again, that COVID year, not only was it just strange all the way around, but it was right in the middle of the season when they shut things down.
Yeah. It was a Friday the 13th, March the 13th.
Remember it vividly. Two-0 the count to Mesh. Mesh has walked 3 times today. And this one will be a looper, pop-up, or a fly. Not really a pop-up, but a fly out to left field. And one away as Bradbury makes the catch.
And now all of a sudden, Santa Ma's bats have cooled off. Now they are in good shape because they have the 6-run lead with 6 outs left to go. Got an update. They've gone through the 3rd inning, so they're going to move to the 4th at Dutchtown. Still 0-0 West Ouachita and the Griffins.
We haven't talked, really at all about the fact that East Ascension knocked off the number 5 seed. They upset Hahnville. Yep. EA is the 12th seed in the bracket.
Right. They weren't really expected to get that far, but, of course, last season they weren't either, and they were able to get that far as well, as they had upsets in the 2nd round both seasons.
This will be Brooke Rabelais at the plate. Rabelais hit that grand slam.
Now, next season for East Ascension, of course, you're going to lose Lanou, and that's a big loss. But you're still going to have Tulia, you're still going to have Creel, you're still going to have lots of players. If they can find a pitcher, or Stevens or Creel can step up and figure out how to become an effective pitcher, they're going to be really dangerous next season.
That was a good shot of Rabelais. We definitely want to thank Chad Rabelais, her dad, for helping us out with all the stats this season, and we can't thank him enough. And we can't thank all these schools enough for all the hospitality they give us once we're here, but also all the help during the week to make sure that we have the information that we need so that we can hopefully provide you with an entertaining and informative game.
And one thing I want to thank Coach Amy for and Coach Tony for is they always give us our lineups on time so that we can get our lineup set up. We have what we think is going to be lineup, but then there's always a change.
Always.
And so we're able to get that to you before we go on air.
She will walk to get a runner on. Will Rabelais. They didn't want to. I don't think that was intentional, but they certainly don't want to give any opportunities to her to pull it out of here.
Nope. And so Tanner's going to run again.
Brings up Olivia Johnson. Johnson's the person we expected that might hit one out, but she has 11 homers on the year.
Yep. Now, she flirted with some in foul territory.
Yep.
Just didn't have the timing.
Ooh, if somebody had been covering, they might have been able to get her on the throw to first.
Tanner got a little aggressive with her move there.
Johnson flew out to left twice. Two balls and a strike. 2-0, actually.
2-0. You see this. It seems like every inning you kind of have that moment when the pitcher, whether we're talking about Creel or Decato, gets into that lull where they start throwing balls and can't find the plate.
Well, bounces one off the turf. Good job for Stevens to block it up.
But the runner still advances.
You saw right there in the replay, she hesitated because didn't know how far away it was going to get, and it did roll past or did roll away from Stevens behind the plate.
Yes, it was a good play.
3-0 to Olivia Johnson, excuse me. And that'll be 4 straight pitches for the walk. So she's walked 2 in a row after getting Mesh to fly out to left field. Brings up Braylee Decato.
Can't reiterate enough. Once East Ascension gets a pitching situation settled, they can get somebody in the circle who can keep them from giving up the big runs to the big teams. They can hold good teams and some of the weaker teams to a few runs a game. But the problem is when they run into teams like Santa Ma, Dutchtown, Live Oak, they give up a lot of runs. And it kind of neutralizes their bats because they wind up getting in these 10-8 type of slugfests, and that's what you're getting right here.
Rockefort will pinch run, or courtesy run. This is Decato. Driven to center. It's gone! 1, 2, 3 runs, and unbelievable 15-6. A 3-run homer for Braylee Decato, straight away center field, just sneaks over the wall.
I think Berthelot thought she had a beat on it.
Yep.
She kind of casually got back and set up, and then all of a sudden, look at her. She just reached up, and it was over her mitt by a matter of a few inches. And that's now a 9-run lead, and now all of a sudden the 10-run rule is starting to loom large again.
1 out in the inning. If they get one more run, that should do it. At 15-6 with a grand slam and a 3-run dinger. And that one could do it. That one did it. It's over. The ball game. 16-6 in the 5th. 2 back-to-back home runs. And I do believe the Lady Gators are heading to Sulphur.
I hope they know how to get there.
A well-worn path for these ladies. What a way to end this ball game in the bottom of the 5th inning. 16-6 the final score. And my friend, we saw a classic here by the Lady Gators.
Yeah, the long ball. Now, you know that the small ball set up the early base runners, but then when they got to the middle of the lineup, you got a home run in this inning from Decato, and you got a home run from Trish. You had the grand slam from Rabelais. So you had 3 balls go out the park. Olivia Johnson didn't even participate in the long ball party today, and she's their team leader, but they just went bombs away, and they wind up finishing the regular season and postseason sweep over the Lady Spartans, and they're going to go back to Sulphur for the 4th time. And the seniors are 4 for 4.
Let's take a look at them again. Yeah, let's take a look at the seniors again. As, of course, there they are. They're looking to add another ring.
Yep, you see on the bottom row, we just talked about it, Mesh. Look at what she just did. And then you've got Lauren Allen, Maya Franklin, Ava Vickner, Haley Hebert, Riley Moran, and Morgan Blackwell. 4 straight years they're going to go to Sulphur. Their seasons always end at Sulphur. And then the seniors, back-to-back quarterfinals, and that's something to be proud of for these girls. Maya Lanou, we talk about on the right, had a great season and a great career. Anna Grace Johnson and Toby Landry, they've all done really well. And this East Ascension program, like I said, they can get a pitching situation settled. This team is going to have a chance to go to Sulphur again next season.
Let's take a look quickly at what's coming up on Rev. We're going to wrap up our 2024-25 season, and it's going to be a baseball game next week on Tuesday. It will be
right. It's going to be over at Ascension Christian.
Yep, that's right. I will be calling that one. Catholic Point Capee at Ascension Christian for Division 4 select.
You and I are going to be out
there.
Oh,
good, good. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that very much. And that was a heck of a ball game. We want to congratulate East Ascension on a great season. We certainly wish the Lady Gators the best of luck as they move on to Sulphur to see if they can go ahead and four-peat. But that is going to do it for us. I want to thank our great camera crew, Hannah Grace Votro, Nolan Wagasback, Andre Chapoy, of course our director, Courtney Laurent, and the greatest executive producer in the ball game, Lyle Boudreau, back in master control. That is going to do it for Jeff Porsche and myself, Jimmy Frederick. Congratulations again to the Lady Gators of Santa Maria. They head to the semifinals looking for their four-peat. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time on the Rev Game of the Week.